So next up, we have 8-Bit Hypocrite, Limbus Company Update, Refractory Railway, and Hell's Chicken. Now, I've played Hell's Chicken, so I'm going to get this. I haven't played Refraction Railway because you do that when you reach the end game, and I started the game so late that I'd have to beat Canto 8. I'm on Canto 4. It'll be a while. Oh, God. So in the meantime, let's see where this goes. I'm just going to leave a like in advance because I kind of have a feeling I like 8-Bit Hypocrite style. I like what they're doing, and I honestly have an obsession with Limbus Company. So we're going to check this out.
Project Moon fans,
Yes.
I have a massive announcement for you. You're eating good tonight. I know that fans of the Lobotomy Corporation series are hungry for content.
Yeah. And at the time this came out, this was 2 years ago. This is when Hell's Chicken came out 2 years ago. Holy shit. And yeah, Valerian, you're mentioning Canto 8 Part 2 is peak. I've been told everything is peak from here on out. It's more like less a peak and just an upward hill that you just keep getting higher on.
That you guys always want more Project Moon to watch. So, you should go check out the channel that me and a few friends started called Roll to Play, where I'm GMing a fan-made Project Moon tabletop RPG for...
I unironically might just watch that or listen to that on my own time because if it's lore accurate to Project Moon, you probably shouldn't ever put that on YouTube. Oh, God.
3 of my friends that know nothing about this universe.
So let me get this straight. 8-Bit Hypocrite is DMing a game for people who don't know, who have not experienced the one thing I have learned about Project Moon titles is that you are not prepared. And usually when you TTRPG something, it's like, hey, let's run in there and kill God. And this is a setting where you probably will eventually get to the point of killing God. But before that, Cthulhu has a few things he wants to expose you to. Take that however you want. They're probably all accurate. Oh, no. I kind of want to see him absolutely torture people because he finds the actual in-game art. It's like, hey, yeah, remember that child you found? It was eaten. Here's what it looks like. It wants your head now, too. And it's already started eating your leg. Have fun. And even then, that's like the least fucked up thing that could happen in this entire setting. Oh,
Which means
no.
I get to do all kinds of fun things to them that they'll never see coming.
You
Join us as they
monster.
adventure through the city as newly hired fixers in the back streets of W in our actual play pod.
They're starting a W Corp? How many times do you say, you get on the train, you come out and you feel like you forget something. It's fine. Oh, I don't... That's so evil. Because that's like everyone thinks they're great because they literally do not get to remember the 1,100 decades, I don't know, of years of not being able to die, not being able to leave the train car, and just not being able to stop existing. Oh, no.
Podcast titled Stars of the City. I hope that you're all excited to watch as I am to keep playing it, and...
Is that actually something he has? Oh yeah, he has it down here. I'm checking that out later.
With that being said, let's get into the video.
That's just an announcement. I need to see this. He's going to hurt
Company
them.
has been out for a couple months now, and we've now seen some new identities and the
W-Corp
first
Merceau.
couple events for the game. So real quick, let's revisit Limbus Company and see how it's changed. First, we've got a ton of new identities.
Oh, yeah, because when he played, it was capped at whatever the beginning was. I think it stopped at 3 and they didn't get... Wait, when the game came out, when did it end? I thought it ended at 3, but maybe I'm wrong.
Since I last wrote my review, and oh boy, the power creep is already beginning.
Really?
Specifically, R-Corp Heathcliff, Chef Ryoshu, and They Who Grip. While
I mean... Yeah, the power creep is real, and even I can tell that because I'm easily slaughtering things early game with some of the later identities. Although the ones he just mentioned right now are actually still good, and I've already used some of the tickets to get one of the Faust Who Grips because they're still usable now in a bleed team.
These identities blow a lot of the others completely out of
Heathcliff
the
is still
water.
good now.
I don't think they're completely unfair. If you don't have these, you can still beat any of the current challenges in the game with a bit of grinding. Case in point, Refraction Railway, which I only had one of these identities for and got it done pretty effectively, which we'll talk about in a bit.
Still need to
All
get a
that
few of
to
these.
say, I think the game is very playable without the best identities.
Chicken.
And that's a very good thing. It keeps the game as fair as possible for free-to-play players, which is fantastic.
Oh, and he didn't talk about the dispensing system last time around. I wonder if this is going to be one of the updates.
And also, they're really fucking cool. God damn,
Yeah.
the grippers are so cool. Great designs, animations, lore, and just generally looking super sick make these chase identities for me.
I'm just remembering what some of the later identities look like. Manager Dawn, for example, is the reason I love this game, because I got them and their animations were just so cool and over the top and had so much weight behind them. I'm sitting here going like, oh. Yeah, I make girly squealing noises when I play that, which is fine, except I usually play it late at night when I'm going to bed. So my wife is just sitting there going, okay, it's time to... Oh, why is there someone shouting? Yeah, in hindsight, it's not the best option. I probably shouldn't do it then. That's just going to be me.
Just helps that they're really good too. So overall, I like the identities, and I'm excited to see more. But let's move on to the events themselves, and find out how Project Moon has been keeping its players busy. Since its release, Olympus Company has gifted us with two big headline events, Refraction Railway and Hell's Chicken.
Yeah, the Railway keeps updating, but the Chicken I just played through. It was actually a very fun little time. And without the grinding the mini one-level dungeon 30, 38, 40 times to get everything, that would drive me crazy.
I'm not saying that wrong, you'll understand in a bit. Let's begin with Refraction Railway. The Railway is a gauntlet of 13 battles, where you need to overcome each fight with 5 sinners, and if any of them die, you can't use them again.
Oh. That's what Refraction Railway is. It's a boss gauntlet. Oh, see, I think the bleed team would be good with that I have right now, because they heal so much. But that's only 4 units that heal so much. And while there is some team healing, it's not the focus. Ooh. I mean, it's going to be a long time before I can get far enough in the game to do it, but that could be difficult.
If they skip a battle, they'll be fully healed, so you need to be careful and plan what identities you should use to get.
So ideally, you want 2 separate teams to switch between, because they heal if you don't use them. But if you keep going back to back to back, and that might just be this version of it, not even the later version, because they could have changed. Ooh.
Lower turn counts.
I wonder what it looks like differently than now, though.
To give your MVPs a rest. You're rewarded each time you clear one of the battles, and there's some really good stuff in here. Ego shard crates and extraction tickets galore. You can get these,
and that's why people do it, because it's probably like a better version of grinding Mirror Dungeon. And boss gauntlet special conditions. That was only the first Refraction. And they're different. Mono has bread. It took you 120 turns? I'm not seeing that right. That actually... This was that 120. And Shaq mentioned every railway has its own gimmick. So this is just the first one. And I'm assuming you can't replay them because they keep it only as the end game.
Simply for beating each stage. No strings attached, meaning anyone can get the rewards no matter how bad their identities are. It just might take them longer. But the true reward is a banner. Something you can display on your profile to show off.
Do they do anything, by the way?
If you beat every stage, you get the basic banner. Beat all of them in under 120 total turns, and you get a flashier one. But beat them all in under 120 total turns before halfway through the event's time period, and you get the best one. While some of these fights are just damage checks, the entire railway plays out more like a puzzle. Where should you sacrifice turns in order to gain some later?
Because if you need to heal up people, you need to bring a weaker team, but they'll take longer to win. But the people who are really strong might take damage to get there, and they die, and then you're out. I actually kind of like this concept, But if every single one is its own puzzle, its own content area, then I'll probably never actually get to play this version of it. Because unlike Hell's Chicken, the Intervalos, which have just become their own content separate to the main storyline, these, I think, are only kept as the newest version only.
This
Unless I
finally
just haven't unlocked
culminates
it.
in the final boss of the Railway, My Form Empties, which is a puzzle boss where you need to transfer stacks of a status effect to enemies in order to force the boss to kill them.
Oh. That's how that works. I fought this guy in Mirror Dungeon. I've just found that if you give him 99 bleed with 99 count and potency, yeah, everything dies. Kind of funny that way. Yeah.
The entire thing is super fun, and I loved this event. Reading guides online and discussions on the subreddit while trying to figure out how to beat this in the least turns possible was super rewarding, and
but also took me longer because he had mechanics I wasn't bothering to read with. And Moma's right. It took you a turn count of 103, not 120. So the goal is everything at 120 in 5 fights. So probably 20 per battle. But 103 is still a lot. Yes, it is.
doing research definitely helped. Refraction railways are going to be a frequent event, with 2 more railways planned out for later this year, and I'm super excited to play more of them. I think that this is a great way to drive up player interaction, and seeing people one-shot bosses on the railway is always cool. The only complaint that I really have is that since the special banner is a timed reward, people who join later may not have a chance to get it at all, but I understand that's how live service games work with.
Although, as far as live service games go, this is probably one of the most generous. Sort of. I think Punishing Grey Raven right now has way more free stuff for newbies to an absurd level because a lot of their banners just aren't time gated. Some are, but there's more that aren't. On the other hand, you can play this game almost completely for free if you just splurge on the pass to grind infinitely. And the fact that you can grind it infinitely is in its own right insane. So yeah, even though it's some content missing, it's definitely more in the favor of newbies at this point.
Fear of missing out and all that. All in all, an A+ from me. And we better get a blubbering toad plush. I need that in my life.
Wait, they don't actually have a plush of that already? Like, it's a little absurd horror of what the fuckery, and it kinda is cute.
Next up, the more recent event, Hell's Chicken. Unlike...
Oh, this is what that looked like early on? Oh, I just played the Intervalo with... Oh, dude. Yeah. This is funny. Oh, and apparently Vinci mentioned the Battle Pass. No, who said the Battle Pass? No, Shaq mentioned the Battle Pass is badly structured. I've never bought their Battle Pass. There's just so much free stuff in PGR right now that I paid for 1 copy of a character, and I've got the other 3 without paying a cent because they get more powerful with characterizations, which is probably why, because it's more of those you have to pull multiple to make them work right. But you can actually do that with a lot of them for free. It's kind of absurd.
Refraction Railway, this is a story event that takes place between Cantos 3 and the upcoming 4.
Also, further proof that Ryushu is probably one of the funniest characters. I haven't read Hell's Gate or Hell's Paradise or whatever it's called that she's from. Probably don't want to, but I have found the reading list where they go into more detail about all the books involved, so I might check those out.
And the levels will remain playable after the event has ended officially for everyone to experience the story.
Oh, that was actually intentional. Okay, so I knew that it was available now because I played through it and it was awesome. But I didn't realize it was initially intended that way so that you could always do that. I thought that might have been added later.
This is fantastic because this might be my favorite story in the game besides Part 3 starring They Who Grip. The story involves the group and their collective...
And this is after Part 3 was part, and people keep saying, yeah, Part 3 is great, except for everything that comes after it. I do love how the weakest part was just a fun little romp through Rhodion's definitely her Kanto, and not just kind of feeling like it's putting it off her stuff till later, so they can leave some mystery and build up other characters. Yeah.
A single brain cell trying to resolve a distortion in District K.
That's not true. They don't have a single brain cell.
Chickens
At least
To
I have
begin
chicken.
attacking
I'm gonna keep
people,
saying that.
In order to undistort the restaurant owner, they try to make him some food that's just as good as he remembers. As expected of the Limbus crew by this point, this is not a simple fix. It involves hosting a competition between the sinners, who create opposing teams backing either Gregor or Ryoshu. Honestly, this story is amazing.
Yes.
It's absolutely insane and ridiculous and makes no sense, but this is the first.
It was literally absurdity. Absolute and utter absurdity, because the entire thing was they have the enemy who's distorted and a monster sitting in the back patiently waiting for you to cook him horrible food that he kind of knows is going to be horrible. Except Merceau, who is functionally a perfect chef, but only perfect in the absolute most literal definition of it, without any flair or individuality. Still fine. Kind of cool, though.
First chapter where I think every sinner truly shines.
Yeah.
The contest involves every sinner trying to help in some way, and we get to hear from literally everyone in the crew. Clashing personalities and constant quips make the crew feel more alive than ever before. Merceau, who absolutely shines here, and yes, I know I horrifically mispronounced his name in the last video.
Oh, so I was saying it right, Merceau. Oh, sorry. There's this thing where I'm saying names right doesn't happen, so it's weird when I'm right. Huh. Neat. And Valerian just mentioned every part is better than the last. They can't keep getting away with it. Yeah. Shaq, the prologue for Rodion, you refuse to call it her canto. Honestly, yeah, I'm very much of the same opinion. That was not her canto. That was we're building characters for later because we don't resolve issues so early on. If anything, I think that's one of the things they did with Gregor too, where you got his main issue was the war, but we got the hint that his real issue was his mom. And that ain't resolved yet.
But I'm not.
And that makes sense because the entire thing about that's the movie. Metamorphosis for this one was about how he felt like he was a burden on his family, or if he was or if he was not. I'll be honest, it's one of those styles of books where I know of it. I can't stand it personally. Books written around depression as the overarching understand what is horrible just piss me off the entire time. And they're kind of nihilistic, and I just can't, man.
I'm not going to apologize for it, because that would mean that the French are correct, and we just can't have that. He has more lines in this.
I mean, I'm American. I need to agree with that.
All the other chapters combined. And you know what he uses all those words on? He drops a fucking diss track on Yi Seng's shitty food.
Yeah.
This man, who's been silent most of the game, comes out swinging and drops absolute bars that are filled with puns you can only understand in Korean.
Oh, those were puns? I mean, people told me it was rhyming. I thought he was just a really good food critic. Which I guess is probably the same thing.
We also see my boy, Sinclair, actually stand up for himself, getting fed up with everyone's shit and walking out.
And then immediately getting beat back down because everyone else got the same issues.
Look at that character development.
Kafka had issues, Shaq? Yeah, he did.
Yi Seng says some wacky shit about how he's going to eat a poisoned potato. The little gremlin makes chocolate-covered chicken.
Oh, I'm sorry. I want to see that again.
A poisoned potato. The little gremlin makes
I know. She's an adorable little gremlin of stupidity, but also does really respect Virgilus and tries to follow his lessons. And it just, God, I love her character. She's so freaking funny, man. Because also, she's not as stupid as she tries to portray herself, and that was shown in the second canto, which is still one of those weird cantos where it felt like a prologue, but not just for Rodion. I felt like a lot of the characters got little moments in there where they showed, oh yeah, no, there's more to us than we've shown. Her being the biggest one on the freaking humor section with the mariachis having a dance-off, and they're just calling her out, and it's like, oh, so there's something else going on, because she dropped the characterization. The voice actress did an amazing job of completely and utterly changing how she speaks on a dime, and then becoming quiet, and it's just like, what the hell, man? And again, I'm going to say something that's probably going to get a few people here violently ill. Chocolate chicken, if served in more of a unsweetened cocoa style, could actually be really good if it was part of a dry rub. I could see it working out as a bitter aspect with some salt. It actually might work. Like a bitter chocolate chicken, almost like a jerk rub. I should probably clarify that jerk chicken is a style of preparation, and it's actually really good because it's a dry rub without many sauces or any sauce whatsoever that actually somehow makes the meat it's on very tenderized, and it's called jerk chicken, and it's applied as a rub. Why do words have to sound so horrible sometimes? I'm just going to move on.
Chocolate-covered chicken, Ryoshu continues to smoke in the kitchen, and Ishmael lives in a constant state resembling a panic attack throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
Everyone gets to shine a little here, and that's amazing. Also, Hell's Chicken has the absolute best music in the game by a lot right now. This track goes so fucking hard.
I know.
But let's talk about
Such
the
good
event
background
itself.
music.
During the event period, if you play the levels, you get plushies of this adorable little mascot called Bongy?
Oh, so you actually got the plushies in game, and that's... See, I never got to the point where I had to grind for these endlessly, so it wasn't really a problem for me, and I got to the end, it's like, oh, we got a plushie! I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But everyone else was panicking and just like having an absolute rage moment in the story because they had been literally staring at these. They had to grind through constantly when you played it. That explains the rage a lot more. Yeah, if you had actually played this event, that would absolutely be just infuriating, and I kind of love it.
Bongy? I am
Bongy.
Actually not sure
Bong
how
bong.
to pronounce that, or what it's a reference to. If anyone knows, put it in the comments. You guys did a great job of pointing out stuff in the last video. I'll just call them plushies for now, and you'll know who I'm talking about. You get plushies depending on how much Enkephalon you spend on the level, which is the name of the energy if you were unaware. At certain milestones, you get rewarded from the event page, and once again, there are quite a few bangers in here. A lot more Ego Shard crates and a decent amount of extraction tickets, with the highest prize being yet another event banner when you hit 6,000 plushies.
I just realized hers is all noted up and his is completely covered in blood. Ah. I never actually bothered looking at that art that detailed. Also, Bill Larson, you mentioned ice cream pizza. Actually, ice cream pizza is a thing, and it's kind of awesome. It's a cookie base with a layer of ice cream, and then either a hardened whip on top or chocolate syrup. It's absolutely decadent, and it is legitimately a heart attack on a plate, but it is really good. It ain't pizza. It's more of an ice cream cake on top of a cookie cake, but it is really sweet. And also, if you let it sit in the sun for 5 seconds, it melts, go everywhere, and it makes the bottom soggy. So you have to eat it immediately with a group of people to get through it right away, but it is really good.
This event is really cool, with great rewards and a better story. I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, it was fun.
For the first few hours. See, there's a problem
The infinite
with
grinding.
these events, mostly Hell's Chicken. As I mentioned earlier, Railway has a timed banner, which sucked for anyone who started playing late, but that event wasn't really
What was on the banner
grinding in
anyways?
itself. You got rewards one time no matter how many times you ran it trying to get 120 turns.
Oh.
But Hell's Chicken is different. You're forced to grind for these rewards.
Over and over.
It takes a long time.
I heard that you had to run a mini dungeon 30 plus times to get everything. I'm not sure if that's real. I don't know if it was real. I'm afraid it might be, though, because I've seen how many times I have to run Mirror Dungeon just to get basic stuff. Also, Bill Arson, you think of an actual pizza with ice cream as a topping? Oh, yeah, that could be bad. Unless you actually did have a very thin crust with maybe a caramel glaze? Yeah, if you had a very thin crust so it's crunchy, caramel glaze with a dusting of cinnamon, and then ice cream just right in the middle melting out to fill out as it goes up to the edges, you're not really eating it at that point. You're more like just taking pieces of it, eating from the center, like a traditional Mediterranean pizza. Huh. That actually sounds pretty good too. I must be hungry because I keep thinking about food and everyone keeps bringing it up.
Honestly,
Fried ice cream is real. I've never
way
tried it.
too long. While I was lucky enough to have enough time to get the grind done, others were not.
Because if you got in right at the end, there's
Understandably
literally
upset
no way
with
to
the
grind that in
commitment
time.
This event took.
I'm okay with
Project
missing it.
Moon is not a bad company. In fact, they actively listened to the complaints of their community and tried to fix it.
Oh.
They extended both events significantly, giving people a ton more time to lower...
Oh, wait. It was originally 2023. Oh, wow. They gave a lot of time extra on that one. 14 more days. That's literally half a month longer. And it was honestly a full month, so we went from a month to a month and a half. Yeah, that's actually not bad. And I know their seasons are kind of whatever they want. And it's not bad. Also, Valerian, fried ice cream? Yes. Basically, though, they have ice cream. They bread it usually with like cornflakes, and they fry the cornflakes in a very fast deep fry. But because ice cream is so condensed and so cold, while the outer layer might melt, the inside of it doesn't get enough heat fast enough to actually melt. So it's not actually liquid on the inside. And as soon as you take it out, it cools again. So it has this weird thing where it's contained within a shell of usually fried cornflakes, sometimes actual frosted flakes because they're sweeter. And then it has the inside where there's that little layer that's kind of almost gelatinous because it had flash frozen and then, or sorry, flash melted and then immediately froze away because without the heat being in there, it isn't nearly so bad. So it's really good, I've been told, but also it is a heart attack. It is all the calorie.
Lower their turn number in Railway, and an additional 2 weeks to grind plushies for Hell's Chicken.
How many plushies did you need?
Fix the issue of being very grindy, I'm super happy that they at least extended the event. As many people in the community were sad that they wouldn't hit 6,000 plushies before the event ended since they were so busy. I'm glad to see Project Moon listen to the community, and it seems like they really care. I'll stand by my previous statement that at least so far, this game isn't a cash grab. There's a ton of love here, and the way Project Moon is trying to improve everyone's experience is absolutely proof of this.
Let me go back. How many? 5. Damn, Rabbit is strong. I'm flaring to think about it being too sweet. That's the thing. It's actually not. I mean, it can be made sweet, but the actual ice cream is usually the sweetness, while the shell itself can almost be more savory, depending on how you do it. And I've seen people then put powdered sugar on it, but honestly, that sounds way too much.
Project Moon is trying to improve everyone's experience is absolutely proof of this. They recently reworked XP and dungeons as well, making it easier to level up characters and get resources.
They made it easier. So it's not even that I'm having an easier time. I have multiple years of the game being more optimized. What was it like initially? Because they didn't have banner guarantees either, did they?
Really good. I think Olympus Company remains one of the best gacha games on the market right now, and I still suggest you give it a try.
I still think it has one of the best stories.
I'll be continuing to give updates on the state
it's just
of Limbus
always at a level of good to great.
Probably not as frequently, considering it's only been a month since my last video. Go check out Stars of the City if you guys want more Project Moon content from me.
Unironically, I might check that out because that sounds absolutely batshit insane.
Because I'm super excited to show you guys what we're doing in that game, and as always, I'll see you soon.
Oh, he did lore for Dark Souls? Oh. Might actually check that out later. I'll be honest, I haven't been able to play Refraction Railway. I cannot speak today. Railway, there we go, there's an R. I don't really know what it's like, and I've been told that even though the section he's talking about was the initial one, which was just a boss rush, it changes. Which means I kind of want someone to take me through a list of, here's what it looked like the first time, here's the additional 6 of them. I don't know, I just... there's so much going on, man. And so many different types of challenges I would love to play through, but I know I can't anymore. And Gilgamesh mentions that Tails' heads cap at 45 sanity was 70 instead of 95. So it had lower sanity. So you can have 45 and it would still be a 30% chance for it to fail. Oh, wow. And the game used to be a lot more bullshit. I could see that. And Momo has read, Esgu made a video guide for each one. Unironically, I might just check that out on my own time. That sounds fun. I've done a lot of Esgu videos recently trying to get into learn how to play this game. And I've generally found Unga Bunga is kind of the best way to get into it early on. because you can over level things just by using the initial materials they give you for a new player, which is probably so you can quickly move through the story and experience it to get closer to the new stuff at a pace that doesn't seem glacial so you don't lose track of it. Probably a good choice. Also, I think he might have done other videos, so I might check out 8-Bit Hypocrite's other stuff. But then if someone wants to see him doing the roleplay of exposing people who have no idea what Project Moon does to Project Moon as a tabletop game, the game in which being a murder hobo is the ethically correct choice. That's going to be a thing. Oh, God. So either way, you guys know the deal. There's a link below to the original video. Hit it up. 8-Bit Hypocrite is doing a great job. And I think I might just check out his other videos as well, going to things like Dark Souls, because I kind of like their style and I want to see what they're doing. So hit them up. They're awesome. I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.